Hi guys, and welcome back to the Baker Bunch. I am Nisha, and today I'm here with my son Tamir, who is 19 and a half months. So I decided to do a controversial parenting tag because I think it's really cool to talk about different parenting styles. I feel like there's not one style that is for every child. I feel like I watched this Tyler Perry Madea play, and it was saying like 3 people can be raised in the same house and all turn out differently based upon the parenting. For some children, you could say, no, stop that. For some children, you have to be more assertive. So with that being said, okay, I guess our special guest is leaving. With that being said, I want to tell you guys how I parent with Tamir, and I plan on parenting the rest of our children the same way. So let's jump in and get started. So the first one is pro-life or pro-choice. I am life. I believe that a child should have the opportunity to live. I feel like as an adult, when you are, how can I say this? When you are sexually active, you should know what your consequences are. First off, nothing can happen. Secondly, you can have a child, or thirdly, you can catch an STD or STI. So I feel like unless you are raped or something like that, then I would say, pro-choice. But the next question is baby wearing. So I am for baby wearing, which is when you put them inside the little carrier. Tamir, on the other hand, he didn't like it. However, when we have another child, I would like to actually put them in the carrier, and I hope that I'm able to wear them, because I see so many parents when we're out, like say at the mall, they wear their child, so I would totally love to do that. So the next one is circumcision. I'm for circumcision. I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle for circumcision. Personally, we decided not to get Tamir's. I always thought that I would, but first off, it wasn't covered by our insurance. And then secondly, I just didn't want him to go through that pain. I know that some people say it's more convenient if you do circumcise to clean, but my husband isn't circumcised either, and I felt like he can teach him how to appropriately clean the area. So yeah, that's how I feel about circumcision. The fourth one is adoption. I am for adoption. I've always wanted to adopt. I looked into foster care to lead to adoption, but I don't know. The only thing that I don't like about adoption in the United States is I feel like there are so many children that are in the system and need great homes. I feel like adoption is so very expensive, which I feel like sucks. But I am all for adoption. The next one is baby piercing. Now, before I had a child, I felt like when I had a daughter that I would totally pierce their ears. There was no question about it. Like, I felt like they should get their ears pierced. Now that I am a parent, like my mom asks me all the time, like, oh, why isn't Tamir's ears pierced? And I just don't feel like that's my choice. I feel like ear piercings hurt. I'm an adult, and I feel like, oh my God, I would literally cry bloody murder. Now, I do have piercings. I don't have any in right now, but as far as for my baby, I don't think I will get them. I know Tay wants to pierce our daughters, but I'm just not, I'm not going to pierce her ears, to be honest. I think I'm going to wait till it's her decision to see if she wants it. So anyways, yeah, so the next one is breast milk versus formula. I am pro-feed. Whatever you need to feed your baby. If you aren't able to develop and produce enough milk, then of course you're not going to starve your child. But I also feel like you should at least try to breastfeed, because there are many advantages, such as, the immune system and developing, whatever the antibodies that the mommy has, passes down to the child, and that bonding experience. I must say breastfeeding is really, really hard. I remember when we brought Tamir home from the hospital that first week, it was really a challenge, but with prayer and staying encouraged, we made it through. And like I said, we've been going 19 and a half months strong. Am I okay? So the next one is cry it out method. I've tried the cry it out method, but no, my poo. I've tried the cry it out method, but after he cries for like a minute or something, I can't take it. So we don't do the cry down method. However, if it works for you, then I'm with it. Spanking. Now, spanking is something that I do agree with. I was spanked as a child. I don't believe in child abuse. Now, I don't believe in you beating your child. I think that's ridiculous. However, I do believe in discipline. So, like a pop on the hand or on the butt, I feel like it suffice. But I just feel like not in anger. So if Tamir does something that I don't agree with or I don't like, and I've had to repeat myself several times, of course I give a couple of pass, but I may pop his hand, or if I've constantly told him no, but I'm not gonna like beat my child if I'm mad or something like that. But then I also don't feel like, you getting down? I don't feel like spanking answers everything. I feel like some things can be talked about, eye contact and a firm no. I feel like that will suffice as well. Are those your clothes? The next one is co-sleeping. We co-sleep once. That's yours. Once we brought Tamir home from the hospital, he was in a bassinet for a couple of days, but I realized he slept the longest next to me, and it was easier for me to breastfeed because, again, when you bring them home from the hospital, they're eating every hour. So we are still co-sleeping. Co-sleeping. Go. I was saying earlier that like before we have another child, I pray that we can get Tamir out of the bed, but I'll keep you guys posted on that one. Number 10 is homeschool versus public school versus private school versus charter schooling. So myself and my husband, we both went to a public school. I personally feel like public schools and like private schools or Catholic schools, they're the same. I feel like the only difference is that they're learning it from a religious standpoint. Personally, I would want my son to have religious learnings within his education, because there are certain topics that I don't feel like my son should be taught. I feel like as far as like sex ed and sexual orientation, that's something that I would like to have with my son. A conversation that I don't feel like I want a teacher or someone who doesn't have his best interest at heart to inform him about. Those are topics that I feel like I would like to discuss with my son. But as far as his schooling, and then also like with the school shootings, it makes me nervous, but I feel like, things can happen anywhere, to be honest. So right now, I think we're going to more than likely do public schooling. And then if that doesn't work out, we'll go. The next one is vaccinations. When we first had Tamir, there was another mommy that I knew, and she added me into a mommy group that was about vaccines and being vaccinated. And it was all these horrible things about like how vaccinations can lead to autism, this, that, and there was a lot of different facts. What my husband and I discussed and decided on is I'd rather my son be protected than not protected. We were watching an episode of Law and Order SVU, and a mother decided not to vaccinate her child who had the measles. Took them to a park, Central Park actually, and ended up contaminating, or the other kids ended up catching the measles, and one died. And I felt like I don't want to keep my son buried in a home, like in our house. I know he's going to go outside. He's going to play with other kids. He's going to go to the park, go to Chuck E. Cheese, go to theme parks. And I want him to be protected. Some of the videos that you see that are against vaccinations, I feel like those are like the 1 out of a million cases, or, like a certain small percentage. But at the end of the day, I feel like you have to do what's best for your child. Like we were talking about in the previous one, if you want your child to go to a public school, they have to have all their shots. And I'd rather him have his shots gradually over time than, like my mom's friend was saying that her nephew didn't get his shots. So when he turned 5 and it was time for him to go to public school, he had to get all of his shots within those couple of months before school. And I feel like that's more traumatizing and painful than just getting them over time. And Tamir honestly doesn't remember any of the shots. I feel like the last time we got shots, he cried for like 2 seconds and that was it. However, his first set of shots, I was so emotional. Like I told the nurse, I'm kind of emotional every time. I'm like, don't hurt my son. But other than that, I am pro vaccinations. The next question is medicating children. I'm for medicine as well. As far as like if Tamir has a fever or he's not feeling good, most of his medicine is natural. Like we use Zarbee's, which is like naturally like honeys and natural remedies. I try that first. If that doesn't work, then I'll do like a Tylenol or a Motrin. But I mean, it's not like a daily type of thing where like every day he has medicine. But if he does have a fever or, you know, he's in pain or something, then I'll give him Tylenol. Next one is cloth versus disposable diapers. I am disposable diapers. I did look into I did look and I did some research about the cloth diapers, but for me personally, I felt like it was a bit much. I'm not about to touch and disposable. And lastly, store-bought baby food versus homemade. He eats store-bought baby food. Well, actually, to be honest, when Tamir started solids at like 4 months, we started with a little bit of oatmeal. We didn't really do that. He did like the carrots, bananas, applesauce, and stuff like that. But I did horrible in introducing him to food. So as far as versus homemade, store-bought, but he didn't really eat it. Like I still have a cabinet full of baby food. So that concludes the controversial parenting tags. If you guys had any other things, if you guys parent your child differently or have any I don't know, advice or anything, you can leave them down below. Again, I just want to reiterate that this is just my opinion and what I think. If you guys have different opinions, we can agree to disagree. But if you guys like this one, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.